Move Over Shopping Network, we are about to go thrifting. Next on Smart Money. Welcome to Smart Money. I am Pat Boyle along with Julia Anderson, and don't you look good today?
Yes, indeed.
Don't I?
Well, absolutely you do. And we were where just recently?
At the William Temple House Thrift Store. We both love thrifting. We love to scour thrift stores for treasures, and so we thought we would bring in William Temple House Thrift Store Director Alicia Ellingwood, and then also volunteer at the thrift store and William Temple House Board Member Judy Gibson. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
So we're here to talk about thrifting, which is something I've done for a long time. Where did I learn it? From my mother, I think. But I always go there with a sense of adventure. It's like, you know, what might I run across that's going to be something cool, maybe have a good look, it may this or that, or my other category is work clothes for yard work, plaid shirts, that sort of thing, that are comfortable. So those are kind of my motivations for going there. And I know people have a lot of other motivations also.
Yeah, and you got that there. We went down together and did some shopping, and it looks lovely on you, I might say.
I love this color.
That's why we're complimenting each other on our looks. But we have a rack of stuff. Some of this is yours. Why don't you show us what you have?
We've got some examples here of thrift store things that Pat and I have picked up. This I got for the show. It's a nice, you know, professional looking outer garment, and I can wear it with something black underneath, and it looks really good. I've already worn it on the show once.
Yeah, our viewers may say, hey, that looks familiar.
Yeah. Now this one caught my eye because I just love the excitement of it, and I think when you get to be a certain age, of which I am one, you can do this sort of outrageous thing, and it actually looks pretty good. In fact, I'm going to put it on later. And then here's the, dropped it. Here's the work stuff that I buy to go out and dig in the yard. And it's just really easy to wear over, you know, something, and it keeps the sun off while you're digging in the dirt. So that's another one of my job categories.
And you don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it, so it's nice to get
No, I mean,
secondhand.
it's like $4, you know. So,
Good score.
And then one more category, I guess, would be travel. And I travel with a very small suitcase. So I'm always looking for things that are versatile, that I can dress up or down. So this with a black top with a nice pair of sandals would be great for evening, but it's also good for wandering around in that 95-degree heat in Rome if you ever are there with a tour. So this is also something I'm looking for a lot. So yeah, there you go. How about you?
Well, first of all, I have to say I credit or blame, depending on the day, both this show and then William Temple House for my thrifting obsession now. I was on the board for 7 years at William Temple House, which has a thrift store and then a food pantry and then low-cost counseling. And as being a good board member, I thought I should go check out the thrift store and get something and represent. So this is kind of nostalgic. This is my first item I ever bought. Do you need a suede pink cowboy jacket? No.
Yes. Oh, I love this.
Isn't that gorgeous? I think it's actually been on the show before, but this is one of my first purchases I got there.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's fun because when you're out and about, if someone says, oh, I love your jacket, it becomes a conversation starter. Well, thank you. I got it for $12 at the William Temple Thrift Store. I'm on the board, blah, blah, blah. So, and then we've been doing the show together for what, 4 years? Once a month. I don't have that many clothes. So that's where, you know, the thrift store and this show kind of combined to help beef up my wardrobe. I've gone to Palm Springs a couple times, and this is an item.
Almost.
Spring green. We like green on this show. This thing I got at a thrift store in Palm Springs, and they abound there as well. And it's the only time I ever said, hey, it has a little bit of dirt on it, and I live in Portland, and I can't bring it back. If I can't get it out, can you give me a lesser price? And they did. So I think that was a $12 purchase. And then this is, who can buy a cashmere sweater for $20?
Look at that.
I can, and I think
that is gorgeous.
It's mine, thank you. And then one thing I think that William Temple does well, and Alicia, maybe you can talk about it in a bit, but there's a section for boutique items and the really, really good stuff, so you can just beehive right toward it, where I found, watch the segue, where I found this, and I wore this on the show 2 months ago, and it's all sparkly, and it's a label that, Judy, I hadn't heard about. It's Lafayette 148, and why is that such a good label?
It's a good label because they make very kind of neutral clothes. Seeing the sparkles doesn't really necessarily make it neutral, but you can use it for different things. You could go out to dinner with that. You can put some jewels with it. You can wear it on this show. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, they do a very classic look.
Yeah.
And their pricing is expensive, and we do. I mean, Alicia does almost all the pricing for boutique, and we do a really, really good pricing job on it.
You did, and I think I got this for $25. It had been on there for a while, and then I didn't know. It's like Lafayette, okay, what is it? And I got home, and their jackets go for a couple $100. So I love this jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more, and I will try on this coat. And Judy encouraged me to get it, and I am so glad I did. It's a company by Ellen Tracy. And it is a beautiful, beautiful red jacket. Isn't that lovely? The stitching and everything. And it jumped out and said, buy me. And Judy said, yes, you should. So I listened. And then the other thing, this is for anybody who has a big cell phone. I mean, look at how big mine is. Really big.
That's big.
So let's say you have a big cell phone, but just a little beaded purse that you would want to take out when you go out for something special in the evening. My cell phone would not fit in my little beaded purse, and so what did I find? A big beaded purse at William Temple. And so look at, I can put a lot of stuff in there, car keys, and that it's a low-grade bothersome thing, but it's like I finally found a good replacement. Well, not much.
$10.
$10. So anyway, it's been near and dear to my heart, and we know why we're attracted to thrift stores, but why do you think, and you can tag team it or whatever, but why do you think people are attracted to thrift stores?
I mean, there's nothing like getting a good deal on something, right? So thrifting is about finding really high quality merchandise at a low, affordable price. And I think a lot of us need that. I certainly wouldn't be buying Lafayette 148 at full price.
Nope.
So thrifting allows me the ability to get a lot of, like I said, high quality things at an affordable price. I think other people are in it for the thrill of the hunt as well.
Thanks
That's part of
shoes,
my
by the
appeal
way.
too, the treasure hunt of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find. The stock changes every single day. So there's always going to be something new and different. People collect things.
Yeah, people collect things. People are in there looking to put something in their house. People, I helped somebody the other day, and he had just moved to the neighborhood. He was really excited. He hadn't heard about us. He came in, and I helped him basically furnish his house just about. And
Nice.
it was wonderful. And it was all like a really good price. So, yeah, it's just a great place to go when you need to find
And
something.
your store is located in Portland Northwest.
In Northwest
You've been there a
Portland.
long time, right? that location?
Since the 1960s something, I
Yeah,
believe.
a long
Yeah,
time.
since this a long that's right. It is a long time. Yeah, so a long time. So on Northwest Gleason, right before 23rd, perfect location.
Well, your store, I'm sure, has a lot of people like Pat and me who are middle class, but we're looking for bargains. And so we're kind of looking for the really quality. We're willing to pay a little bit more for stuff, but we're still getting a great buy on it. What about another group of people who are really there because they got to be there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, right now with inflation as well, I mean, people are just looking to save money in any way that they can. And, again, you can get your household needs met, small appliances, cookware, cups and saucers, rugs. It's all
not
there.
just clothes.
It's all there, and it's all far less expensive than it would be brand new. And I think a lot of us need that resource right now to find affordable things.
Well, and it's not fast fashion, and there's kind of an anti-fast fashion move. Can you talk about that for those who don't know?
Yeah, and hopefully that's growing. But yeah, fast fashion is basically cheap, disposable clothing. It's trendy, it comes out rapidly, but it's not very ethically manufactured, and the fast fashion industry contributes a lot to pollution on the planet. So I do hope that people's consciousness around that is growing. But yeah, thrifting is a sustainable way to shop. So bottom line, if you are concerned about the environmental harms caused by fast fashion, buying clothes secondhand is an ethical way to do that.
And fast fashion is just not made very well. Whereas, items made that we call vintage are made well. And we actually at the thrift store have a separate section that is just vintage, and people swarm to that. And that's great because they know that this might have been purchased or made 20, 40, 30 years ago, and it's still in a great quality made. So that's people looking for that.
Could you tell us your demographics? Do we skew to the older end of your demographics, or are young people coming in who just think it's a hoot, or who's in there?
There's a huge variation on demographics. And I would say just personally, I mean, I started thrifting as a teenager for different reasons than I thrift now. You know, when I was younger, it was about trying to find cool vintage stuff to wear. And now it's I can get a Le Creuset saucepan or something like that I might not be able to afford brand new, but I can find those goods at the thrift store. So it changes over time, but we have all kinds of younger people, older people, people on a fixed income, students, and people of means. You know, just because you have money doesn't mean you don't still like to save money.
And maybe that's why you have money.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it really is. I've been thrifting for as long as I can remember.
Yep.
Mine started because we would have garage sales when I was growing up, and because we did not have much money growing up, so that's how we supplemented. We'd sell stuff, and that going to garage sales and thrift stores has been in my DNA since I was young. So.
So I did not a bunch, but some research before we decided to do this show, getting ready for it. And some of what I read was that there's been a change since we've gone through COVID. Now, we all got shut down. You were actually closed for a while, right, during COVID? And everybody was wearing masks, and finally we're back to what I think feels like the old days. I'm just wondering if that's true. Have there been some changes in the last 3 or 4 years?
Let's see.
A little bit. At this point, COVID, I mean, we are still living with COVID, but it feels a little bit like a distant memory in some ways.
Are you getting different clothes? I mean, I read somewhere that you're getting more fast fashion clothes are being dumped on thrift stores, and you're having to do more sorting.
Well, I think when we were all in lockdown, a lot of people took that opportunity to go through their clothes and household items. And so definitely when we reopened, we were hit really hard with people who had, cleaned out their closets and cupboards and were bringing everything all at once. And that was a little overwhelming for us.
Okay.
And I think also there's some people who pass the time away shopping online. And that's where fast fashion might come into it. You know, you can buy a whole lot for very little money, but then it's falling apart and you donate it to the thrift store, which actually is not the best idea, but but things are relatively back to normal now, I would say.
Do you have staffing issues like everybody else in retail, or not?
What do you mean?
Volunteer people to help out.
Volunteers definitely supplement our paid staff, absolutely, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers.
Got it.
That's an important part of our crew.
Roughly.
Oh my goodness.
Roughly.
I think there's, the amount of time people are spending volunteering varies, but we probably have a couple dozen volunteers who rotate through the store on a regular basis.
And just picture, we took some video while we were down there shopping of the store. I mean, could you tell us the different categories that you have? Because you even have artwork.
We do.
And jewelry.
We have a lot of artwork.
We have a ton of artwork. We just actually expanded our capacity to display artwork, which is wonderful. But we have, there's artwork, there's linens, there's rugs, there's lamps, there's home decor, little objects to art, handbags, clothing. Anything that you can imagine that would be in a typical household, we're going to have a little bit of that peppered in the store.
So some thrift stores specialize in a certain item, but you guys are pretty much across the board, right? A little something for everybody. Is that the way it works for you?
Yeah, clothing and furniture make up the biggest part of the floor plan and also the most revenue, but other departments can bump up really easily. That our shoe department has been expanding lately. We are getting more and more shoes out, and they're high-end shoes, and we know our brands, so we can look at them and don't have to look up the brand and just know, okay, that's a $300 pair of boots. We
It
can't
certainly
get $300, but we can get maybe $75 for it or
Actually,
something.
I paid $35.
Well, I might have put $75 on them, but yeah. So Yeah, we definitely have a lot of things. We just and then some furniture. We get in some amazing, like brand new furniture, and we hit I think our first time of getting over $500 for a sofa.
Oh, wow.
We hadn't done that before.
And one service you have is not everybody has a pickup that they can schlep the $500 sofa down to the thrift store. You have a truck that will go out, right, for a fee?
Yes, we do have a truck that picks up donations, usually furniture, because that's what people can't manage to bring on their own, or those larger items. So there is a nominal fee for that pickup, but yeah, our truck goes out to all different areas of Portland and surrounding areas, and we pick furniture up all the time.
Do all thrift stores do that, or just a few? Does Goodwill do
don't-
that?
I don't think Goodwill does that.
They do.
No.
But I'm not intimately familiar with what all the other thrift stores are doing.
I think Community
but
Warehouse does.
It is a service we provide, yes, and Community Warehouse does that as well, for sure.
Are there things that you don't take?
Yeah, right now our sales floor is predominantly the clothing and the furniture, and we don't have room for everything, so we don't carry children's things really. Other than that, we take a little bit of everything. We just ask that it's in good condition when people bring it,
And the things that we don't take are listed on our website. So we'd encourage people to go to our websites to make sure before they lug it down or give us a call, just so that they don't make an unnecessary trip.
So in doing the research I did, Portland is a thrifty town. There are, I put together a list of, it started out to be the top 10, and then I thought, well, maybe it better be the top 20 thrift stores. Goodwill alone has like 8 big stores. And then there's the Salvation Army and a whole lot of others that are bigger than you are by a long way. And as I said, some of them specialize in certain things. So among the tips that we ran across, if you're into thrifting, is to do your homework online. Find out what the thrift store may be specializing in. You just get a better idea of what they might be offering. Would that be a fair number one tip, is do your research online?
I think if you're looking for specific things, doing your research is a good idea. But I think if you're open to surprises, just go and see in person what that place is about.
I wonder how many of those top 20 thrift stores have a thrift store cat. Can you tell us about Ozzy?
Ozzy's a magical creature that lives at the thrift store. We all love him. I was joking the other day that we're kind of like the cult of Ozzy because he's just a very special cat, and he's been at the store now for I think a little bit over 5 years. But he's just a sweet-natured, social creature, and we all love him. It's almost like a little therapy animal for us too.
For everybody, probably.
Well,
What's
yeah, the
the
customers
weirdest thing? Maybe you're the one to answer this. The weirdest thing that's ever been dropped by. Here, we'd like you to take this.
That is such a hard question. There's a lot of, I don't want to insult anybody who donated.
Weird.
But like
unique.
Weird is
weird
not
and
bad.
unique. I've
Cremains.
gotten some strange things. Cremains is
Cremains.
probably.
What?
We got some cremains.
On purpose?
Well, I'm like to think that maybe they didn't know what they were when they were donating them, but that's what they were.
Oh.
So
Wow.
that would be the weirdest for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've come across little like Tupperware containers with dead bees inside. You would just be kind of surprised at the strange things that people. Maybe they threw it in the box by accident, or maybe not.
You would
but
hope so.
All kinds of weird things come in.
Well, I have fun watching your Instagram page. I'm on the Instagram just because I want to know what my kids are doing. Parents can relate to that. If you want to see what your kids are up to,
Yep.
go to Instagram. But there are fun things that are styled. If you have, for example, really expensive jewelry that's been brought in, you can advertise it there. And then I forget what there's a thing about Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
What was the recent Nicolas Cage thing you had?
The Nicolas Cage item. Yeah, it's funny. There's a whole like cottage industry around like stuff with Nicolas Cage on it. So the last thing we got was a giant
fast fashion was.
Oh, this is educational for you.
Yeah.
It was a giant shower curtain. So that was the last Nicolas Cage thing. But I remember a couple of years ago there was also a Nicolas Cage pillow. So
But the Nicolas
those
Cage
are fun.
shower curtain,
It's sold
a
immediately.
customer
We
saw it
posted-
on Instagram,
Yep.
called, and we don't hold items because we want to sell items.
Sure.
But he says, I will be right down. So Alicia set it aside. He came down. He was so excited. Someone else ran in right after him. I want the Nicolas Cage shower curtain. So the exciting thing about that is people are seeing our Instagram.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's
Cool.
getting a following. And I think one of the unique things, aside from Ozzie the cat, about the thrift store is that under the umbrella of the William Temple House nonprofit agency, the thrift store and the money that you collect or your proceeds fund about 33% of the nonprofit budget. So so we can feel good when we buy things we don't really need, Julia.
Well, that's the whole
because-
idea.
Yeah, it goes to fund social services. So so when you go home and say, and your partner says, "Did you need that?" and you could say no, but it's a win-win situation. I'm helping others by getting this.
Well, explain to me where it goes. What are some of the social service things you do?
There's affordable mental health counseling, and there's a healthy food pantry
Nice.
for members of our community that need that. Yeah, those are vital services. So, I definitely feel really good about where the revenue is going.
And it's also, staying here within Portland, which is one of the reasons I have been attached to William Temple for 20 more plus years, because everything is for the people here in Portland. So that's really important to me, taking care of our own.
Yeah, and speaking of healthy food, a fundraising luncheon is coming up in April, April
Right.
18th, which is a Tuesday, and a chef will be there demonstrating healthy food menu entrees from things you can find in the food pantry. So if people say, "Hey, that sounds fun," where do they go to find out more?
WilliamTemple.org.
WilliamTemple.org.
Yeah.
So let's talk a minute before we finish up here on shopping tips. So we already mentioned doing your research online because some thrift stores in the Portland area specialize in certain things. What would be some other good shopping tips for people who are walking into thrift stores?
I would say look at everything in the store. You never know what's going to call out to you.
Well, this called out to
And
Julia.
I
She's
think
a
if
walking
you're
billboard.
if you're hyper focused, you might not see everything that you would otherwise see if you have
Okay.
the
So
if you
don't
have the
have a
openness to
plan.
look in all the sections. Yeah, I say don't have a plan.
Don't have a plan.
I mean,
All right.
it's okay to have some things in mind and check there first. But, look around. You never know what treasures await.
I would suggest also that if you see something that you think, oh, that's interesting, put it in your basket now, because if you walk away and you come back, like the red coat, it might not be there when you walk back into that section again, and that has happened. So
That's the best advice of all.
Yeah, you see
if you
something,
like it, buy it
grab it.
right then.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
gonna
at
be
least-
there
at
if you
least
come
hold
back the
on
next
to
at
it.
day.
least
You're
hold on
walking
to it. We
around.
have
Yeah.
shopping baskets to use, so yeah, hold on to it.
Well, I'm going to stand up and show you these pants that I did just that. Did I need them? No, but they really spoke to me, and they're unique.
I
They're
love
really
that.
Cute. They're beyond
I like it.
normal
The
black
texture
pants.
is really cool.
They go with this shirt.
I like how
No,
the
they
shirt.
don't.
No?
They do though.
Anyway,
kinda
yeah, so that's my yardstick. If it jumps out at you,
This is too
as
much.
did
This
this
shirt's too much for her.
suede jacket.
I love
And
it.
this,
Yes.
and this, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming down and talking
for
with
having
us
us.
and
Thanks so much.
talking thrifting. It's
Yeah,
been fun.
this was fun.
We love our thrifting.
For more information, go to my website at 60andsingle.com.